Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Fallout New Vegas. So I did some more sorting here and decided to make a new system in which I would put the weapons here and the apparel here, and then just everything that is either a perfect condition weapon, perfect condition apparel, and just all the aid and all the miscellaneous in the middle. That's just the not dealing with it pile, as it were. Because there's just doesn't feel like there's that much going on here as far as this whole DLC. It seems to me like we're going to finish it relatively quickly. We may have some quests. Like, good game design would have us wander back and forth through these different sections and have quests to do it, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if there were just a lot of sections that if you don't go out of your way to investigate them, that you just won't see them. Vault 22 Dwellers Guard Camp, interesting. Like, the only thing I could think is maybe if the map expanded, but I don't really have a lot of hope of that. And then I was saying in a previous episode, and I've said it in many previous episodes, it's just kind of ridiculous that you strip the characters of their clothing and they're wearing this like brand new, very generic, in no way making sense underwear. If they were going to explain that away, that the underwear would be completely clean, completely brand new, and not torn up, there would need to be just major caches of underwear found all throughout the game to explain it. And in 2024, with things like Baldur's Gate 3 and balancing it out with the bloody gore that this game has, it would make a lot more sense for you to strip people of their clothing and them to be just straight naked, or at the very least that the clothes would be torn up. You could also expand on that, certainly, and have the characters just be a lot more scarred and affected by radiation on their skin. So stripping a character of their clothing would just reveal the horrors of a post-apocalypse if you wanted it to be more serious of that. Like, it is kind of crazy that most characters are completely blemish free until they get shot, which just doesn't make any sense. And inherently, if you were just trying to do modesty, then why the belly showing on the female characters? Clearly they wanted to push it a little bit, but for its time, I imagine that's about as much as you could have pushed it before you would have run into the ESRB, and the ESRB really hasn't updated their stance as far as nudity, and console's stance has evolved somewhat to the point where it's really only PlayStation that now is somewhat prudish. Wow. So yeah, we had ended here. I dumped all the items in the dumpster so I could fast travel, and then I had gone also to the Angel Cave, and picked up some more items. And now our quest, which is our only quest for this DLC, is to bring supplies we gathered to Daniel in the Narrows. So we're supporting this secondary tribe. And I don't think that there's even, unless I'm just gonna go way off the path, it's not really anything I could do in this general direction. Everything else is in lower directions. So we will follow the path. I think this would be the shorter way. Nope. This is the way. A lot of this does have the feel of what a modern take on something like Uru, which is a puzzle game with a lot of Native American influences. Oh, just out of nowhere. One of the quests certainly to ask here would be, why is it okay for these tribes to hunt the bighorners or raise the bighorners, and then I guess it would be a matter of sustainability. Certainly in the real world, in the real history, it was the massive amount of overhunting of the buffalo done by the white men intentionally to starve out the tribes, the Native American First Nations tribes. Like, there are some photos that you'll occasionally see on the internet of just buffalo skulls stacked as high as you could possibly stack them. So the weird thing here on this is that we want to go down there, and there's really just not a path down there. This highlights where verticality can really hurt you, so we'll just make a safety save and cheat our way down, keeping horizontal force trying to counter vertical force. This is a kind of weird spot. I have a tomahawk and some binoculars, which let's play with binoculars for just a brief second here and see what that really does. I mean, it lets you look a little bit more if you're willing to disarm yourself at the same time. And if you don't have a scope, I think there's pretty obviously some limitations here as far as just technically, as far as how far you can go. You can zoom in and see things. This looks like you could have only jumped down. Alright, well, this looks like we can slide down the angles here and not take any fall damage. Notice our companion can't really follow. It's real quiet. There's no music playing. In fact, it was so quiet when I started recording, I thought the audio might be messed up. Yeah. It's just not a lot going on here. Still room to fall to your death. What I'd really want is a deeper hidden meaning or elements in this kind of area. I wonder, frankly, if there isn't. Just that it's not going to be a location that you find going and investigating this way. At best, it's just going to be an enemy that's in the area. Or maybe we'll have a quest later. Go ahead and turn on the flashlight. in the Tomb Raider reboot, the third game in the trilogy reboot, there's this hidden city that you would run through quite a bit. And I can't help but feel like this world is somewhat like this, although in fairness I would say that the hidden city in the Tomb Raider, I want to say it was called Revolution, but I feel like it was not called that. May have been called something like Tomb Raider Apocalypse. So there's just spitter plants all around here, which is, this is kind of what I expected, is that you would run into more spitter plants as a way of just collecting maybe resources more than anything. Come over here and just slide down the wall. You'd think maybe there would be a way to interact with these paintings and collect them. But yeah, despite the hidden city in the Tomb Raider game being a central hub, it also was kind of a fairly underused area. It was more compact, I'll give you that, and perhaps it works better with more compactness, but yeah, I'm not sure what you're really supposed to get from this.
Assault upon wounds butchered everyone in New Canaan. They nailed their corpses to the cliffs.
There are some things here that you could find. Certainly. I still feel like these type of lamps don't really make sense, and these generators don't really make sense in the Fallout game. They are very much just pre-made assets. I'm sure of it. So yeah, I'm going back and forth here. I'm not sure if I would have preferred if this would have been a hub area that was just way more compact with people and like building decorations, or if the slightly larger open world is the way to go. I think I would lean towards thinking that the slightly larger open world is a better way to go. Like, this gives more of a feeling of an adventure, even though there is really not that much going on. Yeah. And I suppose it also allows for a case. You'd also think there might be a challenge for searching hollow logs. Just none of that seems to have been finished in the game. It'd be nice if we found some more books that would have given us more skill points just in case you needed it. Like, those kinds of elements exist in the game elsewhere. They should exist here, even in a minimal way. You could make it a whole big part of the quest. I generally do kind of have the feeling that what should have been the story here is that you walked into this facility and there would have been one AI, probably in a vault, that is broadcasting some kind of interference signal that would make it so you would have had to find a compass because of that. And then the AI could be running robots that would have comedically been dressed up like Native Americans somewhat too, and they could have been destroying and seeking out any technology in the area, reverting the land back to this primitive tribal nature. It's hard,
Those,
I think, for people
what do you
to
call them?
really
Walkie-talkies? Those are
care
known to be loads
about
better than signal drums and smoke signs.
a more Native American tribal type culture without the history and the spirituality associated with it, without culture actually associated with it. And this game is not going to be good, obviously, at explaining culture or history. And so I am very much left with thinking these characters are just kind of silly characters, not embracing technology. Whereas the rest of the game totally embraces technology. So here's the Narrows. I wouldn't be surprised.
The Narrows up ahead. That's the Sorrows territory. They're peaceful enough, but you don't want to make them mad.
So we would question maybe if there was some traps in this narrow water path. They are definitely doing something different here that we don't usually see, in that there is a constrained entrance and exit. Yep, doesn't look like there's any actual traps. And so then it's going to come down to, can we find a shop maybe in the Narrows? I wouldn't have been surprised if there was just a massacre here and there's nobody alive. It's starting to rain again. Just walking past me. So we found Sweet Flower Cave. I think it probably is just easier to investigate all of this now. We want to just make sure we can take things. Again, uncertain as to what I even... Can't actually squeeze in here. Mole rats. Yep. I could certainly see the thought that... Where'd that mole rat actually go? There it is. I could certainly see the thought of a society, possibly a vault, training a society to revert to tribalism, and then it being reinforced with just the fact that you see all of these corpses around
compass thing always
the
knows where north is, huh? Even if
the
it can't see the stars.
old technology. Yeah. In between the last episode and now, I actually did look at Nexus mods and see what some of the top mods are for Fallout New Vegas. And I've been saying over encumbrance mods. Honestly, I'm not sure that there isn't just a cheat you could do. Now I know there are some perks that affect how much you carry, so it's probably still not a case that on my first playthrough I would want to do it now, since I've already put so much time into the gameplay as is. But I would definitely suggest people consider not being like me and just starting the game, breaking that system, if there is a console command that can just adjust the amount you can carry. That you may only be able to adjust it by increasing your strength, however, which would give you other advantages. But yeah, by far the mods I did see on Nexus Mods, at least not logged in, I suspect Nexus Mods either it was the mod store that got rid of all the adult content or has it all hidden behind a login. But yeah, by far the mods I'm seeing are anti-crash mods, slight texture updates mods, just improving things that really Obsidian and Bethesda themselves should improve. There isn't a lot of content mods I saw as far as the most popular ones. And the only argument I can make for the level caps being stuck at, interesting, just yet another dead end, makes me wonder if this wasn't an unfinished DLC. It feels unfinished. Let me just double check the local map to make sure I'm not missing something. But yeah, the level cap at 50 probably exclusively exists because if it didn't exist and you just kept going up to level and you were at like level 75, your enemies would probably scale up to level 75, but the guns wouldn't scale up. So the game would just get increasingly more impossible to actually play and win. But that's not the worst idea. You also would not collect. Look how much darker it gets as soon as you're outside and it's raining. You'd not collect enough bullets. That would be your next problem. I don't think I'm supposed to. Yeah, I'm not sure which way to go here. Let's go down, then we'll go back up.
You are the one Joshua Graham sent to us. Blessings of the Father in the cave on you. Daniel is waiting for you.
Interesting. They have opted to make this character either bald and in the underwear type top that they've custom made for these native characters, or Waking Cloud as a character here has just loaded in completely incorrectly and her top and hair just have not loaded in. She doesn't look terrible bald. Let's start with the bear glove.
Asaro's Yaoguai fist is a sacred symbol. It shows that we belong to the tribe and have willingly undertaken a dangerous quest to aid the tribe. Each sorrow makes his own. And only after hunting and slaying a Yao Guai that threatened our people. Our shaman, White Bird, oversees the rites. Perhaps if you spoke to him, he would allow you to undertake such a quest.
Interesting. What's your deal is a kind of aggressive line of dialogue.
Waking Cloud is my name. I am midwife to the sorrows. It sounds ill omen, no? Midwife to sorrows?
Midwife, I haven't seen any children around.
The children and the old have already been evacuated from the camp. They are safe enough, unless the Whitelegs come for us in force.
The old. You don't see too many old people in the game at all. In fact, they bent over backwards in the main game to add old. That's funny. Her eye is just darting left and right.
I tend to other hurts and sicknesses that afflict our tribe. I also scout the valley for the herbs I use in my medicines.
So maybe she'll become a trade point where we can give her a bunch of aid items.
Daniel is a wise man and a great friend to the sorrows. He taught me to speak the language of New Canaan, the English from the holy books.
What are the holy books? It sounds like some form of Christianity. And I kind of wonder if Daniel isn't going to know something more about Joshua or reveal that Joshua is not actually Joshua.
Yes, the language of the New Canaanites is the holy tongue, for it is the language their sacred books are written in. The Father in the caves brought it to them after the judgment, but the ancestors of the sorrows sinned against him. They were denied the true tongue.
So there is a real religion here. It just took a while to get to him.
6 years. He attended the birth of my third child. It was a hard birth. The river nearly carried my water to the Father, and my child's with it. Daniel knew the ways of New Canaan's medicine. He stepped in and saved both of our lives. After the birth, I asked Daniel if he would teach me what he knew of childbirth. He agreed, and so here I am. What would you speak of?
This dialogue tree is not particularly well laid out.
We have dwelt in the Narrows since the end that came in fire. When the Father in the caves punished the world and made us forget the holy tongue. We have had good relations with the other tribes in the valley. At least before Salt Upon Wounds brought his Whitelegs here. We have Daniel to thank for our continued existence. His advice and help has kept the Whitelegs from overrunning us so far. I do not know how long even he can protect us, though.
Is certainly an interesting thought if this was how New Vegas started, is that you would have just been in this Native American type story without technology at all. It just really wouldn't have felt like Fallout 3 in the comparison. Probably would have had a lot of people turn the game off before they ever even made it to Nevada. Or the Mojave Desert. So I don't know how you really adjust for that. What you probably would do, like in Fallout 3, is establish a initial setup of a couple of hours at most where you're in this area. Then you would leave this area and see the bigger desert, and then you would come back to this area later. But yeah, and a couple hours is probably even too much. Maybe an hour at most, where you would start this way.
He is war chief of the Whitelegs, and the worst butcher of them all. The tribes he has crushed are many. The warriors he has slain, countless.
Ooh, what is the Father in the Cave? I imagine this is some kind of computer in a vault.
Have you not heard of the god of the New Canaanites? He is our protector and our judge. He helped our ancestors find their place here in Zion. He gave us many gifts, but we are not to seek him out. His caves are forbidden to us. Those who seek them out are taken from us.
So this might also be a lot of references to things that are in the other games, Fallout 1, Fallout 2, Fallout Tactics. I like this feather headdress that Walking Cloud has. It's a shame that it's going to really just be a one-time thing, and it's not like there's any kind of turkey or feathered animal, so I'm not sure where the feathers actually would have come from.
Perhaps you do not fully understand the new Canaanites. I have seen the Father's images. His holy bride and holy son were given unto the world to save it. They dwelt in the caverns of the mountains, caverns which can still be seen today. The people sinned against him and were punished with the end that came in fire and the loss of the holy tongue. Only the new Canaanites were spared.
So there's definitely a backstory here worth investigating.
I'm sure
if they
Daniel
can
could tell you
tell
more.
me more
His knowledge of the Father is greater than my own.
non-reading ways.
Then I will look forward to our next speaking.
Yeah, I definitely think this is just a glitch. And she's supposed to have some clothes on. It would be an interesting attempt, but even in 2024 it'd be kind of crazy to have natives running around completely naked or throwing off their clothes every time it rained. Interesting, you have hanging fish here, and that's nothing for a game that has all kinds of eating. It is surprising that you would add that visuals and not then add the ability to consume it. You can see these characters are all clothed in the scantily clad tribal. Yep. It was a glitch. It totally was a glitch, it looks like. Let's talk to her for a second. No? If it is a glitch, it's still
Greetings
going.
and blessings to you. Daniel still awaits you. Then I will look forward to our next speaking.
Guess it isn't a glitch. Okay. So there's an upper path here that seems like it would just weave back and forth. My hope is that that's not the path that needs to be taken. You have a very foggy waterfall here. This really highlights how little water effects are in the Mojave, which probably makes the game run better. Water effects not easy to have in games. Even now you can overkill with the water effects, but that's just pure walls of whiteness is too much.
All those taboo places without the other scouts yelling at me? Can't wait.
Yeah, if there was something secret to collect. Yeah, I don't know what it would be. That I saw a little splash here, which I think was caused by the skeleton spawning in and then dropping down there. But it would be nice if the game just overall had splashing when there was a secret underwater, if you are going to have water sections. But definitely the Mojave Desert, as it currently is in real world, it's not a place that's going to have a lot of water. So what they would have probably wanted to say is that there was just massive climate change. And that does bring about an interesting question. I missed a lot of things on the way to this location. And notice how when I hit the B button, the raindrops just freeze. You can see them on the edges of the screen, or as the Pip-Boy comes up, the rain effect just totally freezes. Time freezes. So I would argue maybe this is the unfinished nature of. We can just take food even of this game is that these characters seem to be in that default underwear appearance. So here's Daniel. Definitely not dressed natively at all. I was expecting a bit more, frankly. Crossroad Cavern. I almost wonder if that's going to load into a whole nother area, which that would be an interesting twist, is if this did just end up leading to a whole different section. Map's small enough that there could be another map about that same size. There's just several caves here. Alright, well, let's talk to Gant.
That back when medicine smells funny. Like the shadow of a ghost.
We don't want to Mr. Sandman Daniel here.
The dead horse has told me details about the attack on your caravan. A stranger's sympathy might not count for much, but for what it's worth, I'm sorry. The sorrows will mourn your friends.
These are the
too.
kind of outfits I would have expected more of the characters in the main game to
They have
wear
sensitive souls, innocent
instead of
such
armor.
In spite of what's happened, I hope that Joshua and I can help you out of here. But to be frank, we need your help too.
So, two different tribes, which is implying to me that they're eventually going to go to war. So we'll just exhaust all this dialogue. First of all, handing over the items.
Well, I'll be. I was starting to lose hope we'd be able to get any of this, much less all of it. Tribals are smart, but, well, they're ignorant. Letting go of a taboo is difficult for them. So I knew it would have to be one of us. Turns out all it took was a Gentile, or, no offense. These supplies are a godsend. But if we're going to evacuate Zion without drawing more white leg attention, I need you to go back into the valley. Specifically, I need you to scout out some locations for white legs and try to recover a map of Grand Staircase, a wilderness area to the east. There's also the matter of the roads. We're going to be heading out of the east side of the park, but I'm not sure the way is clear.
Let's see. We can try and negotiate here, but why bother? Let's just be nice and say anything to help.
I appreciate the enthusiasm. There aren't a lot of people in the wasteland.
A lot of
with
these
kindness to spare
responses
for
don't
anyone who isn't
matter.
kin. Since you've been poking around the valley, you might see more activity from the Whitelegs. One of the Sorrow's hunters, Waking Cloud, has volunteered to help guide you through the valley. She has a special talent for staying out of sight. After this, it's just a matter of getting everyone out of here safe and sound. And hopefully you can head back to the Mojave without any more trouble.
So we can now take her as a guide, as an optional thing. We also have an optional steal the White Legs War totems from encampments or wipe out the White Legs encampments at Big Bluff, deal with White Legs traps, disarm traps on the bridge, optional kill White Legs, planting the traps, deal with Yaguai at Pine Creek, optional collapse the Yaguai caves, optional kill the Yaguai at Pine Creek. Okay, so maybe that's where some of these dead ends come from that we've seen before, so we just need to explode the caves, which is an interesting thought, to just explode the caves. It definitely felt like in the main game there was a lot of places that should have been caves and they weren't, and there was a lot of small caves that didn't really have too much in them. Maybe the thought here was to expand and fix on that issue by having a bunch of caves that you explosively are supposed to just explode. So he's giving us some pre-war mining explosives and a special detonator for them. They aren't very useful as weapons, but they could be used to collapse certain caves if that proves necessary in your exploration.
Well, here we part ways. I'm needed back at the Dead Horses camp. Maybe I'll see you there sometime.
So this guy's gonna take the outfit we gave him, but yeah, I kind of don't want him as a companion any further because his dialogue is pretty bad. Now, am I going to get the outfits back? No.
I will. Good gunning, Akis.
I did get the items back. I'm a little surprised by that. And is there nothing else to
I'm
talk
glad
to?
to see you're still with us. How can I help you? If you could part with it, healing powder would be welcome. We have enough stim packs for now, but we can't rely on that small supply. Brock and Xander plants can be found throughout the valley, and you might even find some on White Legs you come across. Ah, that's great news. We can use anything you can offer. Thanks. That will help a good deal.
So we want healing powder now to gain karma. Let's just exhaust the rest of the dialogue. He seems like he's a doctor shop, effectively. Doctor NPC character.
I used to help the Sorrows with various medical problems and general issues they were having, but my bishop sent me here as a missionary. We New Canaanites believe that there is a path to salvation for everyone, and it's important that we set people on that path if they are willing.
Now, there were a few religions in Fallout 3, but they all kind of fell short of feeling like religions and mostly came off as insane cults that only people who were already crazy would have ever believed in. This missionary to natives twist and has perhaps more of a realistic feel to it. Let's see.
I'm trying to make amends for allowing our problem to become their problem. The New Canaanites, I mean. The White Legs have always fought with us. And with Joshua returning, Caesar has motivated the White Legs to stamp out the New Canaanites entirely. That means the tribes we work with, too. It's already happened. I just want to prevent something terrible from happening to the Sorrows. Yes, but not just White Legs. Raiders, too. Prospectors, slavers. Anyone who thinks they can exploit the ignorant and the innocent. We lost the Tar Walkers and the Crazy Horns. We did our best, but we made mistakes. We paid for them, but they paid more. I'd like to get out from under that debt someday. Until then, it's enough to stop ourselves from getting deeper in the hole.
So, yeah, I don't think we're going to see any raiders or slavers in this game, in this DLC.
To remove
I
the
think it's
Sorrows
going to be
from harm's
exclusively White Legs.
I have to give credit to the Whitelegs for finding their way here. Though I imagine many died in the process. But they can't follow us east. Not into the Grand Staircase. They don't know how to live off the land. We head there. We can find some safety. Of course. There's an old saying that goes, if you want peace, get ready for war. You've got me figured half right. I'll shoot dead any white leg that tries to creep into this camp. But it's only to protect the Sorrows. The Lord helps those who help themselves. But the Sorrows don't know how. Joshua and I do. Since I got them into this mess, I need to get them out.
Yeah, I wonder here if they make some references to Christianity, but most of the belief system has been lost, and it has just been twisted into a new religion. Let's see. Let's go with a neutral response here, because we may find out that the Whitelegs aren't really as big the bad guys as they seem.
The new Canaanites interfered in their lives. We did that. And we've done it before, with others. Always with good intentions, but things go wrong. When that happens, we can't just abandon them. Let them die at the hands of New Canaan's enemies. Joshua doesn't just want to fight the Whitelegs, he wants to annihilate them. The stakes are too high for their tribe. Hurting them won't dissuade them. If they can't join Caesar's legion, they'll die out in a generation. They've never learned how to survive. Food preservation, tanning, even basic hunting and cooking seem beyond them. They only survive by scavenging and raiding. But that can't last. They'll only stop if Joshua and the dead horses can kill their war chief and their entire war band. That's exactly what he intends to do.
So, if we side with Joshua, it seems like we're going to go on a war path and kill a bunch of people. If we side with Daniel, we're going to take a more pacifist, fleeing action.
They're hateful savages who live only to plunder and destroy. Their leader is a devil called Salt Upon Wounds. War is all he knows. Everything he has, everything that tribe has, was taken by force, raiding, and scavenging. It's said there's no man deadlier at close range. That power fist of his has smashed 100 skulls. Maybe that's true, but so what? It's a low form of leadership. A tribe that knows only war has no future. And so he'll lead them to Caesar. Father in the... Oh, right. He's some spirit
You have some kind of conflicting
from the caves in the valley. They
religions
marked some
here.
of the caves around here because they think they'll be punished for going inside. I think as more of them learn the teachings of the new Canaanites, they'll lose their old superstitions.
Let's see.
Oh? Oh. Of course. How stupid of me. They probably also think Mary is the mother and Jesus is the child. No wonder they picked up on things so easily. I guess it just goes to show how difficult it is to communicate sometimes. I should be able to address...
So
I can
he's
provide
like
medical
the...
assistance. I can even use supplies that we have here. But I can't just sell what we have. I need to address problems as they arise. And most of those have to do with the Sorrows or dead horses.
So we'll try the speech quest here.
Fair enough. Just be careful and hopefully you won't need these.
So we do have an actual shop here. Actually don't need any of these items though. So this would be more of a case of just selling things because of weight. Like a perfect tomahawk and a perfect binoculars. And if anything, I could probably sell things to him as far as stim packs go. But that would need to be a fair trade. He's got, like, I could buy healing powder from him. And then
I'm glad to see you're still with us.
we'll just give
Thanks.
him the healing powder right back
Until then.
to gain karma. Okay. So we've got a lot of quests now. This rite of passage quest is somebody else. Seems like right here. Perfect. Exactly what I was hoping for, is that I would have a good excuse to go into these caves and see what happens. So who wants to talk to me about what? It does seem to me, though, that the caves may very well be simplistic. Just like extremely simplistic in what is in them. Karma system still definitely feels fairly broken, though, in that you couldn't run around and just steal a bunch of stuff from an area, lose a bunch of karma, and then take those items that you stole and give or donate a lot of it back.
Hola, outsider. Welcome, child of omens. You come to receive visions of truth?
I guess we do. Again, nice display of feathers and necklace, bald character. Maybe that is just going to be the case. It would be nice if I could move the right stick here and look at the character a little bit more, but this works fine enough. I did wonder if a vision quest might happen that could drastically change this map, if there's just a whole different version of the map when you're having...
Take drugs, kill a bear, seek medicine plant, return with sacred datura root, receive visions of truth, they guide you. Go. Return, maybe yes. Return, maybe no. But go.
The tattoos, I will say, on this character do kind of draw the eyes to the nipples. Okay. So that seems to me like that is several different spaces where we have to go to do several different things. I would imagine that the Crossroad Cavern is not just going to be anything too weird. Let's see. I suspect this is the back way exit. If it was consistently the case that the thorny path was the secret exit, here you have coyote pups, coyote din mother. And 1 XP for killing a coyote pup. So that is the trade-off, certainly. The numbers could be bigger if I simply had set myself to like level 40 instead of level 1. Yeah, I'm just left with wondering if there's a problem with doing this and killing a bunch of animals. I mean, if I'm collecting meat, if I'm cooking with them. Okay, so that spout spit me out. Not particularly anywhere too strange. Just a higher spot. Glass chime cave. Now that seems crazy that there would be a white legs character. Other darkness. If it really did become a situation where I'm supposed to potentially side with the white legs, much like siding with Caesar, it would basically mean you would have to go talk to the leader, because they are immediately hostile. Picking up a lot of cave fungus in this DLC. Cave fungus definitely did feel like there was a recipe that would let you cook a lot of stuff. Let's just see. And they're the only guys that really seem to have weapons. Yeah. You can definitely tell I'm overpowered. Just walk in a room and kill 3 people before they can even take steps to attack me. A lot of these. Wonder why the flashlight keeps going off. Probably should have taken Walking Cloud with me a little bit earlier, because now I am over encumbered and I can't just easily drop the items. Yeah. It is definitely an interesting thought. I don't like these tents at all. They look like you can get in there and do something, but you can't. Like, at the beginnings of a post-apocalypse, it definitely would be a case where salvaging and being a raider would have some advantages for the first few years. then eventually it would stop being advantageous and it would start to become more of a crutch. That is assuming you could make one tribe and stick with that one tribe for generation after generation, and it wouldn't just be a case of like replacing one tribe over and over again. So these White Legs outfits are 150, where White Legs hide armor is 175. And then there's just, is there a cooking spot anywhere here? And there's no way to craft either. I definitely wouldn't expect the walking cloud to have any kind of crafting things. Now, one argument I will make against myself is if they were to make a modern Fallout game and go the extreme of having characters be strippable, on top of, obviously you would need to just have a streamer mode pop up, which you kind of need in any game anyways, as far as just audio and censoring, blurring adult content. But a special argument about this ragdoll system is the fact that you can grab limbs, and you can, if you spend a lot of time with it, drag a body into any position you specifically would want. So if this was a case of not putting them, of them being fully strippable, you could certainly spread eagle character and do all of that, which, yeah, I think scars and radiation burns would help with that, certainly. So you couldn't create screenshots from the game that might cause controversy and get reported on by ridiculous fear-mongering news sites. But also maybe the middle ground would be just to have a lot of dirt, either dirty underwear, dirty clothes, muddy, or just a lot of mud on and dirt, radiation burns, cuts, bruises, things like that. There is a animated comedy series called Big Mouth that centers heavily around like animated characters going through puberty, and their major concern, yeah, that was nothing, I couldn't cook anything there. Big Mouth's major concern was that the characters might get sexualized in depictions, and so they went out of their way to create a whole new non-human animation style that makes the characters look kind of ridiculously ugly just out of that concern. Which, yeah, that's definitely a choice, but it also makes watching the series Big Mouth a difficult recommendation, because you have to get past that animation. On top of, you have to get past the South Park-esque content in general, and comedy in general. So this is telling me that there's a cave. It's got to be downward. And I feel like I'm just hitting an invisible wall here. Okay, that didn't hurt me as bad as I thought it might. I wonder if maybe there's a whole third level of height here I'll have to reach. Yeah, there is. That fall really got me, too. Gave me a little bit of vertigo. I don't suffer from that much at all. But yeah. I would assume there isn't any water
Daniel
underwater.
said that I was to travel with you until you have completed your scouting. Is this pleasing to you?
Yes, sounds good. Let's go.
Certainly. We should make haste then.
Let's see. Walking Cloud is giving you the Quiet as Waters perk, while Walking Cloud is in your party. It's much easier to sneak by the white legs. Their perception is decreased. Yeah.
If something of mine will help you, take it. I hope you would do the same for me.
Let's go ahead and start. I'm going to keep these fire bombs just in case those are the explosives. I don't think they are. And then I'm going to just hand her a bunch of outfits. And then, boy, do I wish these mods were under their own menu. If mods and ammos were under their own menu, then it would be so much easier to sort through all the miscellaneous. It would basically be all miscellaneous items. It's really ridiculous you're getting a lot of this crafting items. They should just not exist. The drop pool seems to be uniform throughout the whole game, when in this DLC, where they're telling you to travel light, items should just not be pick-upable. And we are not going to give her those. Yeah. I'm just going to drop everything into
I
her
will be more
inventory.
useful to you traveling light.
So yeah, she can't really carry that much. And here we can see she's now wearing the metal armor, which has now magically taken on a much more form-fitting female version. Which, that
If
does
something
bring
of
about
mine
an
will help
interesting
you,
question.
I hope you would do the
Spike
same.
Knuckles. This is what her outfit was supposed to have been before, I heavily suspect, although the feathers are now missing. So yeah, I definitely feel like that was a glitch.
If something of mine will help you, take it. I hope you would.
And the hair may still not be loading. Okay. So rite of passage. Pick up 3 Decura sacred things. I think the rest of these are further away. Let's just zoom out as we look at these quests. And this is exactly what you would need to do. And so we kind of know the white legs are in that area now. Grand staircase. This Morning Glory Cave. So this is the place to go, and we've got just a couple more caves that we're gonna have to investigate. That waterfall sound effect is a lot. This is considered stealing, weirdly. Here we have Daniel has moved closer. Which that seems like a far amount of places that he can walk. I would expect him to stay near where we found him sleeping, always. Or find him always at the front, which would be easier. I still feel like this whole DLC is going to be fairly short. Excuse me as I'm drinking some water. So we saw this Sweet Flower Cave before, and this cave felt like it ended abruptly. I wouldn't be surprised if this is still a case, though, where a lot of the caves will just end abruptly. Laser detonator, mining detonator. So we have a mining detonator, and then I would suspect that that means we have some kind of item here in miscellaneous. But I would kind of need to know what it's under. One would think maybe under E for explosives. Or maybe under O for old world explosives. Mining explosives, under M for mining explosives. We have 3 of them. So there's, one assumes, only 3 caves that you can actually blow up. Which does mean I don't need to go into every single cave for that reason. Still probably need to go into every single cave just for curiosity reasons. The only reason I even have metal armor in this area is because the bodyguards that were killed immediately.
And for our valley if something is not done.
Once again, we've put a helmet on her, and even though in this case visually it's not covering her mouth, audio-wise it still seems like it is covering her mouth. Okay. So that bridge doesn't work. I think this is a whole twisty thing where we're going to go in one cave and come out another cave to be in a higher spot. We might even want to fast travel from one spot to another just to save some time. Yeah. Now, he told us to take drugs. He didn't inherently say which drugs. Wow, I almost stole pork and beans. Why are the pork and beans of value of 5? But this is a value of 8 and you can take that. You can't move rocks. Well, you can move the detached body parts. It's also worth pointing out that we'll come back to this in a second, the cannibal ability is not going to play any role here. I don't think. Yeah, zooming in general doesn't turn off the flashlight. I don't think that turns off the flashlight. I think just leaving a cave and re-entering a cave, or entering a different cave, turns off the flashlight. These people aren't attacking me, so I'd assume that this is just the Sorrow's tribe living in caves.
I know you are eager to leave Zion, but perhaps you might find peace if you stayed. Think about it. Yes?
It's really not a terrible offer. Yeah, for our character. Now remember, I am playing as a female character, not that you could really tell in the outfit I'm wearing, but definitely doesn't feel like this area is anywhere as dangerous as the New Vegas. That being said, it's not like there's anything really dangerous to me in New Vegas either. It's still... I probably don't need to make Mutter Darkness. Yeah, that's probably the drug I'm supposed to take. But it's lowering my stats, not increasing the stats, so I don't know why you would want a bunch of that. And they just have no problem with you completely cleaning them out. And none of this food matters at all as far as quest reasons. It only would matter if you were playing in hardcore mode. Then you're back to stealing. That whole system is crazy. So this is its own little separate area. Nothing in the water. Game's feeling a little frame ratey. See, and I don't know if that's maybe my computer messing up, which it might be, or if it's just this game and this DLC messing up. Sure would be nice if everything just worked perfectly. And particularly with the idea of using Linux compatibility on the Steam Deck, there is a hope
I wish you could have met my family.
for
You would like them, I think.
a renewed focus on making old games run smoother. I'm not sure if there's really going to be a consistent amount of success doing that. Saving. Okay, so this sacred datura root, I've collected a lot of that. I don't think any of the other quests are really close to this area. I want to go to this Stone Bones cave though, if I can, and I think I am higher up, or I might actually reach the Stone Bones cave. We should just investigate this area anyways. They have everything here to make their own healing potions. It does definitely feel like there could be a quest where you would just hand over a bunch of supplies to this tribe. Okay, so I can't jump up to get there. I may literally have to load the save. Just because I fell down a little bit. That's bad design. Should have been a smoother path there. Still seeing some pop in here and there. Okay. So we're right on this cave. And it may just be that the bridge fell out, so we'll just fall down here. Yeah, it may just be that there is no other way to reach this. Although it seems like there might be. Well, let's check this cave first. Let's see what's in it. Bunch of skeletons. Oh, is the implication that they would be?
To leave Zion, but perhaps you might find peace if you stayed. Think about it. Yes?
Would be an interesting way to end.
My head feels about to burst. At least that means I'm still alive.
So that was quite the explosion. It's more than I was
Fast like
expecting.
moonlight on still water.
And there's another trap on this side. So keep an eye out for traps, I guess. I'm seeing yet another trap. Here. Now when there's usually tripwire, there's usually also something else that activates, whether it's a gun or bombs. The companions seem completely unaffected by that mine. Interesting, a gun that far back. Seems like somebody's trying to do some kind of science. Why did I just pick up 20 gauge rounds? How did I just pick up 20 gauge rounds? I wasn't anywhere near pressing the A button. Do I automatically pick up things when I walk over them? Since when? If I've been playing this game for probably 150 hours, it feels like now. If I could have always just been walking next to things and picking them up. Right, well, I'm standing right next to this large burn book. I'm not picking that up by default. Maybe you only pick up ammo.
Think about it. Yes?
Yeah, and I just question if there's anything more that could be here. It seems to me like there's just kind of this cozy little river or lake. Unless there's some storyline reason. Like, I don't even know what they would be doing here as far as, were they trying to distill water, purify water? Were they trying to, I don't know, make a battery? I'd say this looks more likely they were trying to distill water. But that is a lot of security, certainly, for just distilling water. Of course, it may pay to be paranoid in a Fallout universe. Fission batteries, wrenches, pots, bent tin cans, a whole bunch of other stuff. We do have a workbench here. Of course, the question is going to be how much can we actually craft? Basically nothing. We'll run around this whole area with my eyes down, which will give everybody an opportunity to attack me if anybody is around here. Reload working bench. Scrap metal to lead or nails. Most of these junk things require Rydo tin cans, not bent tin cans. So unless... Oh, there's a broken laser rifle here, but we can't pick it up. So that's got to be of some kind of quest thing. So we will be returning to this area later. More than likely.
I have seen many strange plants in the valley. Plants that seem to hunger for human flesh. Where they come from, I do not know.
She's saying the exact same things that the other guy was saying, so she's not really any better. Desert Ranger combat armor. Let's see. Definitely feels like we're just getting this longer story, and it almost feels like it's a Oregon's Trail type story. I imagine that the stories we're getting in these notes are... It's weird to have a part 2, but I imagine all of this leads directly into the mother and child religion of the native characters. I see the trap, and I'm having trouble disarming it. The question to ask though is, what was that booby trap going to activate? Because the tripwire needs to activate something. I don't see any guns pointing in this general direction. Don't see anything hanging as far as bombs. And yeah, it's really irritating to have a broken laser rifle just on the ground and not be able to do anything with it. It's also really irritating to get all this crafting equipment and still not be able to really do anything with that either. I wouldn't be surprised if that laser rifle quest only activates if we go one way with the story, the more aggressive way. And so we entered on that cave, we exited on this cave. Now I'm falling down. I was going to follow the path there. It's probably easy enough to correct that if I... Fast travel currently unavailable from this location. Okay. Why is that the case? Let's try that again. Oh. So maybe there's a case where we will just trigger something when we leave this Narrows area, which we will have to leave the Narrows area pretty quickly. Let's see. This is Daniel.
I'm glad to see you're still with us. Ah, that's great news.
Here, just take all I have.
Your generosity is... well, I just can't thank you enough.
25 healing powders are moved.
Until then.
So, here we have somebody actually reading a book. So I guess he's teaching some of them to read. Inherently, that would be the annoying thing about any missionary, though, is that in this world in which people are at threat of dying all the time, just focusing on teaching specifically the English language or a different language to people, or teaching religion, a new religion, just yeah, at a certain level it gets dangerously close to a term called cultural genocide, where you're trying to influence a society to change their culture completely into becoming more your culture. Although that is just kind of the nature of things in general. And usually, when you're saying cultural genocide, you're using it as an example of a government straight up killing and forbidding people speaking their native language, or destroying any history of their their culture. Yeah. But yeah, that whether or not said out loud, or one, even if it is said out loud, that definitely is the goal of most missionaries, is that they are trying to destroy anything that's not part of their culture and instill a new culture on it.
Plants in the valley. Plants that seem to hunger for human flesh. Where they come from, I do not know.
Okay, we'll talk to Whitebird. We don't need a gun on him.
You have root of sacred datura? These roots make sacred vision tea. You drink, you see path before you. Ready?
Right.
Drink. Tea is strong. Tea is bitter. Wisdom is strong. Wisdom is bitter. You see? You go to cave. Find ghost of she. Lay ghost to rest. This your quest. Bring peace where was strife. Go.
Okay. Here we go. And so now we are high. And so I imagine we will just see. Let's see if we can see on the map where we're going. Yeah, we're going quite far away. Let's look at our status effects while we're at it. Oh, nope. So I guess the only real question to ask is, how long will this drug last? I can see all the fogginess here playing a role. I can see hallucinating. I can see every time walking through here, seeing something completely different. Now, Far Cry effectively established itself as always having a mission like this, where you hallucinate and do some kind of wild and crazy mission. Which video games are supposed to be fun, so it's not a bad idea if more games did have wild and crazy get high missions. Again, it's a case of the ESRB being not as modernized to overall acceptance in the United States.
By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yea, we wept when we remembered Zion. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it even to the foundation. O daughter of Babylon, who ought to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee.
I think
as
he's
thou
making
hast
this
served
up.
us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. Do you know what it means?
Let's see. Well, I'm guessing you're pretty mad about something. You don't want to leave Zion, you'd rather kill every last one of the white legs.
Given those two choices, yes. In the best of all possible worlds, they would just leave us in peace. But they won't.
So this
I don't
is the
enjoy killing.
reason I
But when
couldn't
done
fast travel.
righteously, it's just a chore, like any other. Practiced
So he's going to
hands
use
make for short
religion
work,
to justify
and the good Lord
killing.
knows there's much to be done here.
This conversation just got pretty dark. What about that happy dashing the little ones? Let's see. Let's go with that one.
Happy are those who do the work of the Lord. Zion belongs to God and the people of God. It is a natural temple and monument to his glory. When our Lord entered the temple and found it polluted by money changers and beasts, did he ask them to leave? Did he cry? Did he simply walk away? No. He
I don't know
drove
why
them
he's
out.
asking questions like I would
It is
know.
one thing to forgive a slap across my cheek, but an insult to the Lord requires... No. It demands correction.
Let's go with this one. I don't know if you figured this out yet, but I don't believe in what you believe.
Then as a Gentile, you should find this to be even more beneficial. If the sorrows stay in Zion, you will always have a link to New Canaan. If the sorrows leave Zion, so too do the New Canaanites. What's more, you'll have more whitelegs coming farther south. You may not be concerned over matters of faith, but this is a case where faith and practicality coincide. No one wants the whitelegs here. We just need to convince Daniel that it's our responsibility to ensure that doesn't happen.
So yeah, that's our whole conversation. I was not expecting Joshua Graham to walk all the way across the map. I mean, that's a really far distance. He was over here in Angel Cave. Inherently, you do have this paradox where my basic nature would be to avoid wasting bullets and avoid
I am always a
aggression.
little sad to leave the Narrows. I'm happy to return.
Interesting, it just like abruptly stopped raining as soon as I walked out of that area. So maybe the weather is somewhat localized. But yeah, particularly in most video games, you just they do a pretty good job of forcing you into being aggressive and violent. The problem with an open world game, though, I imagine the high here is that the graphics just look a little fuzzy and maybe a little bit bouncy. I'm seeing some enemies. There is probably an argument to just increasing the difficulty at this point. Like, once you've gotten to max level, yeah. I don't know how I'm supposed to get up here. Seems like I have to continue to walk here. Let's see if we can do that. I'm gonna make a safety save. I'm going to go to settings. And let's see, hardcore mode, not. Let's just go to what normal difficulty. We were on very easy. Just see what normal difficulty looks like. And we'll have to just wait until some new characters spawn. Finding a bear is probably a great experiment. Not sure what those honey mosquito pods are actually used for. And in other games you would expect that there would be okay, I'm noticing that maybe on normal it takes 2 hits to kill them. Didn't realize this gun was automatic or semi-automatic. So it may still very well be a case where the playing on even normal is just going to slow down the experience. On the other hand, bringing up the difficulty once you hit level 50 seems like it does give you more XP.
Plants that seem to hunger for human flesh. Where they come from, I do not know.
Vault 22 Dwellers Camp. Dwellers Camp. Beware vengeful spirit stalks. Note. We'll read that in a second. We'll just keep making healing powder. I've made plenty of healing poultices before. So what I was thinking was that this area might lead to an actual vault, but I don't think that really is what the way this is going to play out. Some Vault 22 jumpsuits. We've got some more plants up here that in my over encumbered state. And by the way, Stimpak is not going to clear me. I wouldn't be surprised if Fixer did stop this hallucination. So far it doesn't feel like much of a vision quest though. Not really seeing any visions. It's hard to have a vision quest when your character is just a blank slate. You can't, for instance, have you shoot at plants and then reveal actually you were shooting at white legs, or reveal your dead parents or something like that, because as far as we know we don't even have dead parents. It is a very far cry from like Arkham Asylum when the Scarecrow poisoned Batman and Batman was just hallucinating in a very cinematic way. What they could do, certainly here, is have some kind of transition where the Yao Guai turned into a different type of character. Yeah. It's still Cub, and from the looks of it, one headshot would kill it, even on normal. We only need to kill 2 more Yao Guais.
I spend so long scouting on my own that I forget what human company is like.
That being said, that was the Cub, so maybe we are looking for the mother. So we finished the Yao Guai Hunter challenge. As far as I can tell, that didn't actually unlock an achievement. So I'm not sure what the challenge really did, other than just give me an excuse. One body shot. Seems like it's gonna kill each of these. I was wrong about that. And killing Yao Guai now is not moving a new challenge forward. Boy, do I wish there was a way to not be over encumbered. And the real danger here is I'm not going to end up going into a cave, I don't think. And so instead, there may just not be a container. Even if there was a container, there's not a fast travel location, so I would have to dump things into a container in this corner, then fast travel back to Ghost Inn, which I'm not sure I actually went to Ghost Inn and inside of that. So I hope it's not a case that this is the cave entrance and it leads to this corner. Obviously, a modern twist on this game, the caves would not have loading sections. You just wouldn't load the world and unload the whole world.
This is the ghost of She's lair. I was never brave enough to try to find it.
See, I'm not sure if the Ghost of She is part of their religion or if that is just the name of a bear.
I'll fight you if I must.
So yeah, it is a bear on fire, which is an effect I guess you could have done to basically any enemy. And several of them popped up. There. Has a different experience, certainly. But I don't know if that works particularly well. My assumption is Wild Wasteland probably would have had more things like that happen if I'd been playing it the whole time from the beginning of the game. Okay. So we are increasing our levels. Once we get to level 10, there will be a whole another group of things. So, tribal wisdom, probably not. Terrifying presence is a thought. Certainly. Strong back would give us 50 more hold. And I think this is where we would take the perks. Is just be able to carry more stuff. Scoundrel perk, you find more ammunition in containers. That's actually a pretty terrible perk because ammunition is just not a problem. Unless I'm looking for mini nukes. Plus there isn't enough game really to justify doing that. The rest of these are all weapons based except for Pack Rat. Being able to sleep at any campfire. Might have been a useful one. And then the rest of these perks we've already been through and dismissed. So Pack Rat, items of weight 2 less or less weigh half as much for me. That overall is probably better than getting 50 more pounds. So my weight now is at 211 when it was over 240, and everything that was a pound is now half a pound. The main things, though, probably shouldn't do that if I was really being super cautious. The heavier things, though, are still going to weigh more the same. So most weapons, well, a lot of weapons actually are less than 2 pounds. So yeah, that's a better outcome than I thought it was going to be. And we get her paw and a gory depiction. There's just a bunch of skeletons here. Okay, and since we can fast travel, we'll just fast travel. And then finish this quest. Let's see. I do question if perhaps I should increase the difficulty even more. Just put it up to hard or very hard. I may find that
Does
that
Ghost
works.
of She like quiet and grave? Then visions of
Interesting, the
truth
flashlight
are
turned
unending.
off.
Will you learn from truth? Maybe yes, maybe no. Only for you to decide. Here, take. Gift to remind you of visions. Use well, or sell to cure your traitor. Either way, says much about you.
So I'm assuming more things are turning off the... Where'd I get that one radiation from, I wonder? Yeah, I'm assuming more things are turning off the flashlight. And one would assume also I just got a weapon called Cheese Embrace. It's a hand weapon It does 75 damage per second, which means, yeah, it's not really realistic that you would use that. Sure would be nice if you could see yourself more often. And it always goes into third person mode. You can't even look down. Interesting. And the logs are all the same. Okay, well, that is a named item. I will keep the named items, but I definitely think that it is a case where named items also don't have, let's see, combat knife is probably more valuable than knife is. Yeah, it is. $500 almost. Okay, well, that's gonna be it for this episode. What I'll do is make a rough travel off screen to this location and dump off all of the items. Our next question, I suppose, would be just to do river monsters. Yeah. Then treacherous roads, I guess, would be the next thing. Advanced scouts. See, even if I do this advanced scouts quest, which I probably will, I don't think that that is the quest that ends everything. I definitely wish that there were more quests like this in the main game. So I imagine this 3 Marys might actually be the last location. That this is the White Legs advanced scouts location, and but yep, the idea of having quests and having those quests expand on you so that you go and travel and search other areas really makes a lot of sense. And it still makes a lot of sense to like fast travel here and then walk through these areas and investigate this all the way to that location. And then definitely just investigate the bridges and the rivers and this central area. Obviously I haven't done the Bastille. And the Great Staircase, I think it's taking us to a very different place. I would have thought that that might be the Great Staircase. We do have more missions here. There was this definite danger that the game would feel somewhat short. Yeah. And even playing on normal, we are doing fine, and that will give me more levels faster. Although that does point out an issue, certainly, in that if you were playing this on very hard, you probably would hit that max level a lot higher, a lot faster than you should. So, yeah, I just don't think that's particularly balanced. But whatever. It's working in my favor now as we continue to play. It also obviously would have just made more sense if they had given you 10 extra levels instead of 5 extra levels for each DLC. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, and keep on watching. Thanks.